Hey guys, today I'd like to break down my track Dreaming from my new EP Deep Nights. So I'm gonna play the piece here and then talk through it as it's playing. So this introduces the piece. And the whole piece revolves around the constant repetition and development of three chords. These here. And then back up. So I needed a melody in the right hand, of course, to complement this. And I came up with this. But I didn't just want the left hand to play chords because that would be boring, so I added an alternating figure. Which is called an Alberti bass figure, if anyone is interested. And then in the top, in the right hand, I needed something that would imitate this, so that the two hands would go well together. So I came up with... And it's still the same melody, there's just this pattern going on. And so together, they sound like what you just heard. Alright, let's keep listening. Same thing, same melody going on, same patterns. And as you might be able to tell, there are two transitions here. So there's this one. And then there's another one, so instead of it's... And so this here is just an alternate transition that I added in to spice things up because it's boring to just have the same transition, the same pattern just constantly going on. This here is, it just appears one time in the entire piece, but to me, it encapsulates the feeling of dreaming. But then I still added in a right hand accompaniment to kind of bring out this quality, this dreamy quality. The right hand actually imitates the inside of the left hand chord, so it's... And the right hand plays just an octave higher, or here, the right hand plays just an octave higher. So the right hand is playing what the inside of the left hand chords are. And then I added in these higher notes. So here I'm taking the left hand, the bass notes, the bass line, and moving it one octave lower. Really the only reason for this is to make it more dramatic. So instead of... Now it's... It's the same melody, the same thing, it's just the lower notes really add some drama to the music. One of my favorite things to do here was to experiment with putting emphasis on alternating notes. So sometimes it would be... and sometimes it would be, depending on which notes I emphasize, it can sound very different. Versus and especially this here, I experimented with versus and basically every time I play it, it comes out slightly differently. So this here is the transition from the first section into the second section. So it's the same exact melody and the same pattern going on, except everything is now shifted one octave lower. It's no longer just the left hand. The right hand is also an octave lower. And this here is a small detail, but right here is another one of my favorite parts of the piece, because for some reason in this lower register, emphasizing this C sharp makes it almost sound like waves rippling out on a pond or something like that. It's just a very beautiful sound in this lower register. And if I had done, it would have turned out totally differently. So this here is the second section of the piece, and here we're changing the key signatures. So it goes up to D major, and then A major, and so it's kind of alternating between major and minor chords, between happy and sad, especially when it goes higher. The whole feeling that I had here was just something very bittersweet, as I commonly like to add in bittersweet sounds to my music, and this was no exception. Alternating between major and minor chords is a great way to infuse that bittersweet quality into your music. So it goes from D major to A major to G major, A major again, and then back to B minor. And then the first section comes back. It's kind of like a cool breeze washing over you. That's the feeling I had in mind with this transition. And this motif is now all one octave lower. And especially now, what I was trying to do was emphasize alternating notes, as I said earlier, so and really putting the emphasis on different notes each time through. So what this does is effectively engage the listener, because it would be kind of boring if every note just had the same dynamics. So by even just making small scale dynamic variations like this, it can go a long way towards keeping the listener engaged. So here, it's just the same thing repeated over and over and over again. But each time it gets slightly louder and slightly faster. So the image I had in mind was you're actually in a dream. You're falling into a dream, and as you're dreaming and you sink deeper, you start running towards something. And you're approaching this thing, and you're running faster and faster and faster. So this is this section. And as you can see here, I made a jump in the right hand. So now the two hands are an octave apart again, and this really provides more clarity and definition for each hand, so you can really clearly hear the melody right now, because it's above the rest. There's kind of a muddled sound down here, but the melody is very clear-cut in the top. So that's why I wanted the right hand to jump up an octave again, so at the end of the piece you could hear the melody clearly again. Still getting louder, slightly louder, and faster each time through. Very subtly. You don't really notice that it's getting faster, but it is each time. And that's the end. It might catch you by surprise, but I've heard this ending in many different pieces, just like the sudden drop off. It's building towards a climax, but instead of a climax, everything just suddenly evaporates. And in this specific context, I wanted it to sound like you're waking up from a dream. You're running towards something, approaching something, but before you can find out what it is, you suddenly wake up. And so it's just this sudden pullback from the music. Everything's getting louder. And then it ends on that unresolved note. So if you enjoyed this video, that is awesome. Please make sure to let me know. I'm considering making some more videos like this, going over some of my other recent releases, because I think there's a lot to talk about, but only if it seems like there's people actually enjoying this type of video. I won't make many, but maybe 3 or 4 more. So if you enjoyed, please make sure to like this video and let me know in the comments what you thought. Thank you very much for watching.